The beginning of displacement. The story begins in 1948. For Palestinians, it is remembered as Nakba, the catastrophe. More than 700,000 men, women, and children were driven from their homes as Israel declared its existence. Villages were burned, doors slammed shut, and families scattered across borders. Generations were born in exile, holding onto the rusted keys of houses they would never see again. For Israel, it was independence. For Palestinians, it was the start of a life in chains. The imbalance of power was clear from the beginning. A state born through the expulsion of another people cannot escape the label of Zalim. Life behind the wall. Fast forward to today. Imagine a 10-year-old boy named Youssef in Gaza. His childhood is not playgrounds and laughter, but the sound of drones overhead. He does not know the taste of freedom. He only knows the bitter taste of blockade. For 17 years, Gaza has been under siege. Its people cut off from the world, denied food, fuel, medicine, and even clean water. Electricity comes only a few hours a day. Hospitals collapse under shortages, and children die not from disease itself, but from the denial of treatment. In the West Bank, another child, Amina, wakes up to the sound of soldiers' boots outside her home. The wall that snakes through her town separates her from school, her relatives, and sometimes even the nearest hospital. To cross a checkpoint, she must stand for hours, humiliated, her backpack searched, her identity questioned. She has never harmed anyone, yet she is treated as a suspect by default, because she is Palestinian. This is not security. This is systematic oppression. This is what makes Israel a Zalim Riyasat, the children of war. No word carries more weight than the cries of a child. Over the years, thousands of Palestinian children have been killed in Israeli bombings and shootings. UNICEF reports confirm what Palestinians live every day. Childhood in Gaza and the West Bank is a stolen dream. Mothers carry their children in blankets, not to put them to sleep, but to bury them in the graveyard. Fathers dig graves with bare hands because bulldozers cannot reach bombed-out streets. When a state rains missiles on refugee camps, destroys schools, and even targets hospitals, can it be called anything but Zalim? Demolished homes, broken futures. The cruelty of Israel's policies goes beyond war. Every year, Palestinian homes are demolished, sometimes overnight, with families forced out on the streets. Generations of savings reduced to rubble in minutes. The justification? Illegal construction. But how can Palestinians build legally when permits are denied almost universally? In Jerusalem, families live with the constant fear of eviction, their houses handed over to settlers from across the world, while the original owners are thrown into the streets of the very city they were born in. Imagine losing not just your house, but your entire history. This is not law, it is injustice written in official papers. The prison without bars. Palestine today is often described as the largest open-air prison in the world. Gaza is sealed from land, sea, and air. The West Bank is carved into pieces by settlements, checkpoints, and military zones. Palestinians need permits to travel from one city to another, while settlers move freely. Over 6,000 Palestinians are in Israeli prisons, many held without trial under administrative detention. Some are teenagers, others are journalists, writers, or activists whose only crime was speaking the truth. They are punished not for what they did, but for who they are. When justice is replaced with endless imprisonment, the state itself becomes the criminal. That is why the world hears Palestinians call Israel a Zalim Riyasat. Global silence and hypocrisy. One of the most painful parts of this story is not just the cruelty itself, but the silence of those who claim to stand for human rights. The same governments that lecture the world on democracy send weapons to Israel. The same organizations that condemn oppression elsewhere hesitate to speak when Palestinians are bombed. When children are killed in Gaza, the world calls it collateral damage. When a soldier is killed, it is called terrorism. This double standard deepens the wound, reminding Palestinians that their blood is considered cheaper. The hypocrisy of global powers fuels Israel's unchecked aggression, making the cries of the oppressed echo louder. The resistance of hope. And yet, amidst the rubble, Palestine still breathes. Children still go to schools even if their classrooms are tense. Farmers still plant olive trees, even when bulldozers uproot them. Families still laugh, love, and dream, even when checkpoints separate them. Hope itself has become a form of resistance. For every missile, there is a poem. For every prison cell, there is a song. For every demolished house, there is a story passed down to ensure memory survives. This unbreakable spirit terrifies Israel more than any weapon, because it proves that oppression cannot kill hope. Why Zalim Riyasat fits. To call Israel a Zalim Riyasat is not an insult born of anger. It is a description born of reality. A state that occupies another people, steals their land, denies them freedom, imprisons their children, and bombs their homes has earned the title of an oppressive state. It is a Riyasat built on the tears of others, sustained by injustice, and protected by global silence. It may be powerful, armed with weapons and alliances, but its moral foundation is weaker than the rubble it creates. History has shown us that no Zalim Riyasat lasts forever. From apartheid South Africa to colonial empires, every oppressive system eventually crumbles. Palestinians believe the same fate awaits Israel. One day justice will arrive, not through missiles, but through truth. And when that day comes, the cries of martyrs, the songs of prisoners, and the dreams of exiled families will finally find peace. Conclusion. The story of Palestine is not just about land. It is about dignity, humanity, and survival. To walk in the shoes of a Palestinian child is to understand why Israel is seen as a Zalim Riyasat. It is not simply a political slogan, but a cry born from lived reality. Until the world recognizes this truth, oppression will continue. But no wall is high enough, no weapon strong enough, to silence a people's demand for justice. And that is why, despite the cruelty, Palestinians still say, "We will not forget. We will not surrender." One day, the Zalim Riyasat will fall.